just gonna be commentating without a screen for now, or yeah. So there's been some pit stops. We're kind of focused, at least I am. I'm not sure about you, Ariel, about the technical difficulty. So I just need a few minutes to actually see what happened. Ken still stayed out. He's on the hard, of course. Let's see here.
Cruising Ruddo, actually, a leader of the race. He's come in set of hard tyres, so that's why he's down in 7th place, if you're wondering.
Well, we got the stream back live again. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but well, Ginger Tiger's right with Ruddo, so that undercut, boys, has paid off beautifully for him.
Yeah, keep in mind, that means Clipskiri has now got a connection to Ruddo through both Ginger Tiger and Sales Spud, as Ruddo goes faster Spud now. If he can overtake those two cars in front of the Williams quickly, then he might be able to stay with Ruddo, which would be a major advantage.
Ginger's just got past the Spud, so there was a little fight there, but critically for Ruddo, he's managed to gap the Aston Martin. So Ginger Tiger, he's going to lose a little bit of time, and Clips is trying to get past him into Lesmo 1, but his exit wasn't quite as strong as we would have hoped for. I am still surprised at the fact that Pars and Berra are still out there. I suppose for Berra, he's got an outside shot at the championship. He's got to do something different, and, well, he's trying it.
That screams to me maybe considering the one-stopper, and as I say that, look who comes in. And is Berra going to follow? Yes, he is, just to add the cherry on top. But no, 10 laps on the medium tyre. I think it's too ambitious to try and even consider doing 17 on a hard set. But they do go on the hard tyre, which gives them a little bit of flexibility if a safety car did come out towards the later stage of the race.
Ooh, so Spud picks up a 10-second time penalty. Pars loses a spot to both Ginger Tiger and Clipskiri. So staying out for that little bit longer hasn't benefited him in the immediate sense, but maybe later on he's going to have a 3-lap tyre offset compared to Clips, and a 5-lap tyre offset compared to Ginger Tiger. So might pay dividends for him later, boys.
Question is that going to be enough? If this is a two-stopper race, that's realistically not enough in my opinion. If they're already going on to another set after this, which, let's be real, it's likely to go, I don't think it's enough offset to have significant pace. If this was a medium versus a hard, absolutely, but this is a medium, this is a hard versus a hard. As Matty was having a look on Mikey, that was close.
Yeah, he was. I was also watching Keza get overtaken by Berra after having a massive snap of oversteer. Mikey moves out of the way for Matty Rudd, and Mikey in a different race compared to those guys. Mikey yet to pit, so he doesn't want to lose too much time as Pars is overtaking Clips, and Mikey's out. Mikey's out, and is that a safety car?
It is.
Yeah, of course.
Mikey's in the wall on the exit.
Ruddo's coming in.
That is an interesting strategy. Has he gone for the hard tyre? Oh, in fact, Ruddo's been reset to track. Or is that a visual glitch? That's a visual glitch.
That's a visual glitch.
There we go.
In fact, he's in the pit lane. I don't know if you've caught it on stream, but his car is essentially going back into neutral and then immediately into second. I think that's just a visual glitch, but he's gone onto a new set of hards. So actually, with a few laps on the safety car, he's basically giving him a chance to go to the end of the race here now without making a stop. Whereas the likes of Pars, it's going to be a challenge to do that.
But for Pars, he's only pitted the lap before.
Ah, yeah.
So for Pars, he's actually the man in the pound seat. So this race, thanks to Mikey's accident at Ascari, and he has left the session, unfortunately, Mikey. It's giving Pars the advantage. Now, the good thing for Kent is that he can get into the pits here and put a new set of tyres on. But the issue he'll have is that it's going to have to be mediums. And as we know, ladies and gentlemen, those medium tyres will not make it to the end of the race. We suspect the hards could, thanks to this safety car. But for Kent, this is probably the worst thing that could have happened strategically, unless we get another safety car.
What it will mean is he does lead the race, though, and will be the controlling factor on the safety car restart. So, yeah, but actually we kind of missed it, but Berra into P3.
Yeah.
And in fact, JPH into P4 with Matty Rudd P5. That's really shaking up things. Now, Matty Rudd obviously on the medium, as we just said with Ken, he's going to have to make a pit stop, but still, it's really shaking up. And as well, it's the cat into 6th. It's really completely shaking things up. But, yeah. Wow.
What are you seeing, Bjorn, at the minute?
Well, I think Ruddo made a mistake by pitting. Right before he pitted, his tires were only 2 laps old, and with a few laps under the safety car, I think those hards could have made it to the end, and he's lost a bunch of track position. Now, for Kent's race, it's not looking good, but it's plausible. Best case scenario, let's say lap 15 it goes in, onto 16. Best case, which I don't think it will. That is 12 laps on the mediums. Now remember, Pars did 11, or no, 10, sorry. And so did Berra, but you know, I think it's possible for Kent to go to the end, but he's gonna risk a puncture. So it's an interesting one. It's a big risk, but you have no other choice.
I also want to add to that as well. It also depends on how hard he fights Pars, because there's one thing running your own race and trying to tyre manage, but it's another when you've got the charging Red Bull of Pars right on your gearbox. So that's a challenge. But to go back to that Ruddo, I agree. I don't think he should have pitted. I think he should have kept track position, and I think, like I said, I don't believe 2 lap extra hards are really going to be enough to bring you in.
Would he be feeling a little bit more secure in the knowledge that he's got his teammate in front of him on a set of mediums? He's got JPH, who will need to pit again because he started on the hard tyre. I also saw a question from Aaron who was asking about whether Spud has used the medium tyres. He hasn't. He's only used the hard compound, so he will need to pit again. So is Ruddo thinking, there's a couple of drivers who I'm quite friendly with, who I won't lose too much time behind. Can they be a joker in the pack and annoy Berra and Pars? That's the only thing I can think of.
Could, but as well, it could also go the other way around. Ruddo has to effectively clear them before any time soon when they'll come in pit. So the thing is, Ruddo needs to be as close as he can to Pars for this championship fight. He needs to be seeing that Red Bull clearly, whether he's in front or behind. He just needs to be within that fight, and he's just got too many cars in between it. He's going to lose time. I just can't see how it's going to work out. But the thing is, he's got we've just gone over halfway of the race, so there's still time to make amends for it. But I just don't think it was the right call.
Well, Ruddo's joker in the pack could be Matty Rudd, actually. He's on new mediums, which do not have anywhere, because of course he put on the safety car. If Matty Rudd can overtake 1 or 2 cars and just keep him behind, that could really help Ruddo out.
Do you know who the 3 happiest people in the world are right now? Maras, Madman and Nitrogash. Because they had the incidents near the start of the race and they got absolutely dropped from the field. So Maras is now, she's rejoined the queue. Madman will get there as well. Nitro should make it onto the back of the queue. He's only coming around the final corner now, and the safety car's at turn 2. So those 3 are going to be delighted to get a race going. Although Nitro's going into the pit. Is Nitro serving his penalty, I wonder? Because if he is, I think that... I'm just thinking, if he's serving his penalty... Let me just watch his cut. No, he's getting a new set of hard tyres on.
didn't have a 10-second penalty already. Well, he does have it at the moment, so I don't know why he's not serving it. I don't even know that he could, unless that's a glitch.
You can't serve a penalty under safety car. I've just realised. So,
okay, there you
go. So for Nitro, if he gets a brand new set of hards on, he did have 4-lap-old hards. It'll benefit him, but he's, well, I mean, they're at Ascari now. The safety car's in this lap, and he's only heading towards the, I'm right in saying, the Della Roggia chicane. So he's going to have to hope that Kent puts the brakes on.
I think he could just make it, because the drivers are going to need to give a lot of breathing space to the safety car. They really crawl through here. Whether he reaches or not, I think he'll be within a good 5 to 8, maybe 10 seconds, but still, it's not great. But it's run back a bit.
Keep in mind, those tires are going to be up to temperature. It's the only car on track, so if he's going to make it, it's going to be close.
It's going to be really close. I'm just looking at the back of Madman's car if we could see him, but it's not the case. Kent's still not gone yet. I don't imagine he's going to go until he gets a straight line out of the final corner, and Nitro is going to make it. There goes Kent, he's gone. He launches off the corner. That's a good restart, and Nitro's made it onto the back of the pack somehow. So Kent's going to lead, but he's going to have pars for pressure as they approach turn 1. I think he's done a good enough restart. JPH had a good restart, but wasn't quite close enough to look at a move into turn 1. The Ferrari of Ruddo. Oh, JPH and Matty Rudd almost like inadvertently outbraking himself, and Matty Rudd gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting and drops behind his teammate. So Ruddo up to 5th, and he's going to make another move past JPH. So my theory, boys, has already paid into practice, because Ruddo's up to 4th.
That has worked. Oh, there's a car in the back. There's a hash going into the Ferrari of Matty Rudd. I think that's the car. It is.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, it looked like he just got it all wrong under the braking zone. Sadly for It's the Cat, so his time at the front has disappeared. Kent still leads. Pars is 2nd. Bear is 3rd. These top, well, everybody at the moment down to Maras are within a 2nd of one another. So that is going to be important to see how that plays out. Kent is managing the gap, but Bearer is struggling a little bit, I have to say. He's on the battery now to try and close that gap down to the leading duo. But as I said before, let's not forget, Kent will have to pit again. The other guys on the hard tyres, such as these Pars, Bearer, Ruddo, JPH and Ginger Tiger, we suspect they can go to the end. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Kent sets the new fastest lap, and DRS will be enabled on this lap on the exit of Lesmo 2.
Right, game on. Game on as Matty Rudd ahead of the McLaren of JPH as a Cyber going off that line of Griesby. Just trying to get out of the way as 10-second penalty goes to It's the Cat. That's not gone well, but yeah, so DRS will be enabled for Pars. He's well within that. And in fact, they're somewhat dropping the likes of Berra and Ruddo. This is important for Ruddo. This is probably the most crucial stint Ruddo needs to pull out here if he wants any chance for this championship.
Well, we've got the DRS active. Kent still leads. Pars not quite close enough to the Williams at the moment. Berra is hanging on by the skin of his teeth, but you can see Ruddo is doing his utmost to try and close that gap right the way down. Klipskiri's got past O'Stephen, who's acting as a bit of a joker in the pack, and a bit of a cork in the bottle as the Alpine and the Red Bull go by him as he runs off wide at Ascari. So Spud's in the points, just take a picture. But at the minute, he is in 12th, but he is in a big fight with Bruce and Lionel Griesby, who, interestingly, didn't pit under the safety car before. So his laps are well out of sync on the tyres. And Ruddo, that's a critical move. Into 3rd he goes.
Done and dusted for Ruddo. That's important. Now he's got his championship contender right ahead. That's Ginger Tiger and JPH going side by side into turn 2, and they're still side by side now. Who's going to be taking the better line? JPH has got it at the moment, and he should have the position, and he does so. He's ahead of Ginger into turn 4 and 5. That's some good racing between them. Fair but clean.
What are you seeing, Bjorn? Any telemetry so far?
Well, Spud is in the points. Keep in mind he does have a penalty, but the car in front of him, Steven, he's got a little bit older tires, so Steven has got a realistic chance for some points in this race. Now, I've taken a look at the race director to see what has happened with nitro gas, because if you speed in the pit lane, you can actually, or you should be able to serve that 10-second time penalty you gain. But in the race director, he did get a 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane, which he should have been able to serve, but I think the game decided it was not his day, so it's a strange one.
Yeah, the only reason why I say what the drivers can't serve them is normally it bugs out and it doesn't work. I can see a couple of comments saying that you can serve them, but I've never known them to work properly as Keza gets past Clips for 8th position. That's like, whoa, DXT Matty almost losing the back end of the car. So Spud going down the outside of O'Steven. Couldn't quite make that one stick, but he definitely looks like he's got the fresher tyres. And Nitrogash has reappeared. He'll be happy because he can see the points. He's one spot away from it in that fight over 11th place. But I said before, O'Steven, a bit of a joker in the pack, a bit of a cork in the bottle, really, because he's not got the tyre wear compared to everybody else, and it shows. Oh, as he runs deep, and is this Spud's chance? He's looking to the inside. No, he thinks better of it.
What was that tweet from Donald Trump? Stop the count. I'm sure Spud's hoping for that right now, but he might have another opportunity to try and get the Mercedes of O'Steven. He's got the DRS, but it looks like O'Steven's got some great straight line speed package. Now maybe a chance. No, Spud just has to back off. There's the McLaren having a look nearly on the Aston Martin of Nitro Gas. It's all happening everywhere you look.
Tell you where it is happening. Pars has detected his chance at the front. Less than 3 temps, Bjorn.
Yeah, Pars, he should be able to get an easy pass here for the lead. We're gonna have to wait if Kent can do anything, because the Hards might already be the better race tire. As Spud gets up to P11 now, because something has happened to O'Steven. He's in the pits, that's what happened. Unfortunately though, I think Spud definitely wanted the count to continue, because he's not got 3 seconds of time penalty, he's got 13 seconds. So he's definitely got some work to do if he does want to finish in the points.
Yeah, him and Nitro. Go on.
I say Kent's keeping up well, actually, on the back of parts with the data. Yet he's actually still not really. He's still in this, and here's the DRS for him now. So it's bringing as well Rudder along into this, and as well even Berra's tagging along. So the thing is, we know Kent has got a bit, surely. I'd be amazed if he doesn't. But look how that Williams is managing to handle right behind the Red Bull. He's doing quite well. So could be another opportunity for the switch of the lead.
We've got to remember, haven't we, that technically Kent's medium tyres are actually 3 laps old in terms of the race live running. He's done a couple of laps under safety car, so as he moves over to 8, I mean, in theory, he's probably got 5 laps on those medium tyres. Can he do 11 laps? I mean, from you two, you've driven this car around here yesterday. Can the mediums stretch to 11 laps, even theoretically?
You've got to be very, very kind to them. You've got to buy it dinner. You've got to, treat it very, very nicely. That's all I could say. But I mean, like you said, 3 laps under safety car? It's I would not want to be in that position, but theoretically yes, but you'll be in heavy, heavy puncture territory. That's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you. I've done it, so apparently I massaged them, as Kent will be going back into the lead. Wonder if Pars is saving his Hards or just letting him pass for the main straight, but it's definitely possible, of course. Did have some luck with the safety car, but my tire was still fine when I pitted. I did 12 laps, 3 laps on the safety car. So
there you go. Possible. You're saying there's a chance?
The simple answer is yes. Yes, it's possible. But look at this. Redo is close to the back of Pars, but Pars is going to get a helping hand of the DRS. Kent's going to be a bit of a sitting duck here. Here goes Pars. Pars makes the move. But what about Ruddo? Is he close enough to make the move on Kent? No, he's not. That's a bit of a cork in the bottle for Ruddo. Ruddo This fight is, oh, that was so close. In fact, with Berra swiping the Ferrari out of turn 2. Don't know if you caught that, gents, but geez, that was very, very close. But yeah, this is gonna get really, really spicy for the last, what, 7 laps? Well, no, not even 7 laps. The next 5 laps when we next come across the line. As oh, Kent dips a wheel into the gravel. Does that launch Ruddo? Ruddo's gonna have a look on the inside. Oh, contact!
And Kent moves out of the way. I think Kent realised that he'd made a bit of a mistake there. I don't think he realised Ruddo was there, but look at the gap. That has broken the DRS, and that's allowed Pars this little reprieve to try and push on. And now it all comes down to battery management, because these top 3, and that includes Berra in this, all had very similar levels of battery. So these guys are on an even keel. Kent, we know, is the outlier here. Whether he can hang on to the back of them now is another question. One thing to note, Ginger Tiger and JPH have been having a phenomenal battle for 5th place, but it is bringing Keza Clips and DXT Matty up to the back of them. Those two have been fighting so hard. There might be more stories to come just yet as this race ticks over to lap 23, as Berra is going to try and go for P2, but Ruddo's going to defend. He's going to squeeze him, is Ruddo, and he keeps the place for now, but strap yourselves in. This is going to get hot.
Well, he really did leave him nothing more than a car's width through there. That was so tight, but yeah. But here goes Berra. Berra's got another opportunity, but he's a little bit too far back. This is not what Ruddo needs. Ruddo just needs to focus on the car ahead. But the problem is he's got 2 cars right within DRS range and closer than he realistically wants them.
I thought that little slam of whatever that was going to be Bjorn just siving in there with some insight.
I'll tell you, it was my elbow slamming into my desk, so...
Well, what are you seeing, Bjorn?
Well, I was just gonna take a look at my telemetry screen, because Sear Spot has pitted and served his 10-second time penalty, so he is now far away from the points, unfortunately, to our big Sear Spot fans in the chat. Meanwhile though, yeah, like you said last lap, JPH is doing a phenomenal job of putting the McLaren into, well, high point scoring position. The P6 and Keza is not gaining at all.
That is important. I mean, it's important for JPH as well. I've spoken with him a number of times about F1 this season, and he's had his struggles, and his race results have inadvertently reflected that as well. But he's in a, well, he was in a nice fight with Ginger Tiger, but it looks like he's just dropped out of DRS, and that's really, really crucial for this circuit, because, you know, Jordan's best result this season is a 6th place. He's going to equal that, but he needs to keep that DRS with Ginger so he can stay away from Keza, who, after getting pole earlier on and having a bit of an unfortunate time with the wing decisions he made earlier on, he could, in theory, strike back at Jordan, but we'll have to wait and see, because there are 4 laps left, including the one that we're on.
The gap out front though, 1.92 seconds. It's just fluctuating a little bit, but the question is, has Ruddo got enough? He's dragging along Berra. Berra's staying nice in that DRS range as Keza picks up a 3-second penalty, but Kent, I think Kent is starting to struggle now on those medium tyres. I was having a little bit of an on-board with him, and he just did not seem to have much grip left for them. But he's got a bit of a gap, 5 seconds to Ginger Tiger. If he can just try and bring these tyres to the end of the race, I think he'll be happy with a 4th place.
I think mathematically, if Kent finishes where he is, let me just have a quick look at the fastest lap. Yeah, it's actually it's the cat at the moment. He would mathematically stay in contention for the Drivers' Championship. Berra would be out as things stand, and you would have Ruddo and Pars, if my mathematics serves me correctly here, which it normally does, separated by 9 points in the Red Bull's favour. So Ruddo, he is inching towards the back of the Red Bull, but if he can find more time, he's going to have to do it now.
Yep. This is what I said. This is probably the most crucial phase of the season. Crucial stint that he's going to have to try and pull up. He needs to get these extra bit of points, you never know what's going to happen, especially in the finale. So, yeah, but he is getting close, and actually on this lap, I think Bjorn, if you've got your data, it looks to be Ruddo's closed in a bit more.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. 3/10 last lap. And also, coming back to Keza, I think I found an explanation. I think he's done a repeat of the sprint. I'm just looking at the speed trap records here of every lap, and as JPH enters the pits, that's very interesting.
He started on. He's had 2 hard tyres, hasn't he, Jordan? So he's had to go to the mediums for a mandatory stop.
Oh, that's a real shame.
He's going for fastest lap though.
Ooh. And he has a chance at points still. So, but yeah, Keza, I think he's done a repeat of the sprint because his speed trap is just a few kilometers per hour slower than the rest of the field. So, I think he might be running a higher downforce package than the rest once again.
Could that potentially be for the rain? Possibly. Obviously, we had 2 qualies with the wet weather. Maybe running that higher downforce, maybe rear wing, and not being able to reduce it, of course, with Parc Fermé rules. So maybe could that potentially be the factor?
Yeah, it could definitely be. I mean, that was the explanation from his side for the sprint. As we go onto the final lap of this race.
Well, Pars is leading, and I don't think Ruddo is going to get up to the back of him in the end. And Berra, who's had a great season, those 2 second places really propelled him back into the start of this championship in Miami and in Japan. He's going to get another podium, but it's just going to come a touch too late for him. I think Berra is definitely one to watch for season 23 as a driver's champion contender. But I think this season he's just had a little bit of misfortune that's brought him out of the championship fight. But it's been a great effort from the Mercedes man, and it will go down to Pars and Ruddo for a last race shootout at Singapore next Tuesday. What a nice little Christmas present that is for everybody to open come Tuesday, just a couple of days before the big one on the 25th. But Pars rounds himself through a scar. He takes it nice and steady, actually. No harm done for the Red Bull driver. Keep an eye out on the drivers in 6th and further down. Penalties are certainly going to affect the final tally for those guys, but the Red Bull man is going to take 1 step closer to a potential first championship with Invictus Racing League in Tier 2. It's Pars who wins the feature at Monza. Ruddo takes 2nd at another podium for NSX Berra, and Kent will survive just from Ginger Tiger to finish in 4th place. He'll bring it a mathematical 3rd driver into the fight. Then it's Keza across the line, but we have to wait and see how penalties affect everything. And DXT Matty gets 6th place. Then it's Keza, then it's Clips. Nitro, is he going to hang on to 9th? He's got that big penalty, so it's Madman. I imagine it's Bruce, then it'll be Nitro. Matty Rudd is going to finish 12th, but his penalty will drop him out of the points. And will JPH snatch fastest lap? No. He ends up 12th, but he does get the final point. That was a bit of anticlimactic, really, that one. I'm a little bit disappointed. He did a 21-1. It's the Cat will get the fastest lap. You've got Matty Rudd, Stephen, Lionel Griesby, Maras just across the line there. Then it'll be Sir Spud in the end, who's just enjoying his driving this season. And it's the Cat will cross the line in last. But, of course, for him, he actually improves up 1 spot because Maras had a 10-second time penalty. But these results are provisional, just to make that perfectly clear to everybody. Red Bull of Pars celebrating on the podium with Ruddo and Berra alongside him. So, fastest lap of the race went, it's the Cat. Keza got driver of the day and most overtakes, which is a nice little thing for him to have. And then Ruddo having the cleanest driver award. Well done, you get your Hoover out, sir. But in terms of the feature race results, provisionally, it's Pars up from 11th on the grid. Let's not forget, he did have his AI do that qualifying lap for him as a result of disconnecting. Ruddo and Berra on the podium, with Kent, Ginger Tiger, DXT Matty getting his best result since Japan at round 5, finishing in the top 6. Keza, Clips and Madman getting his best result in quite some time. He'll be happy with a 9th place spot. Bruce, Nitrogash and JPH scoring that last point in the end. Matty Rudd, Stephen, Lion of Greasby, Sir Spud, It's the Cat and Maras all finishing but having their own strategies not quite working out for them in the end. And Mikey, the only retirement of the session. Mikey will be spending quite a lot of time with the marshals this weekend, tidying up his Sauber mess.
Yeah, that was, I mean, in the world of the cost cap, Sauber not going to be too happy with that, but anyways.
No. He's got a bit of the Logan Sargent about him this season, does young Mikey?
Yeah, but
one little moment we've missed actually on the final lap. I was just looking at any battles that was still going on. Bruce and Madman was still definitely going on. Now into Ascari, Bruce had way too much overspeed. He outbraked himself, almost hitting the rear of Madman, and he had to go through the gravel and skip the Ascari chicane. But he's managed to keep it clean and still finish the race in 10th. So.
I mean, if he had gone off, he would have officially been classified because he'd done 90% of the race distance, to be fair to him. So he would have, he'd have finished last, but he still would have had a classification to his name. But before we go into the last part of this, I'm going to ask you both for your drivers of the day.
You know that is my favourite question. All these questions. It's so difficult. I'm gonna say Ginger Tiger because Ginger Tiger P5, good points positioning, nearly even getting Kent on. I think give it one more lap, that could have been P4.
Yeah.
I think Ginger went really unnoticed in that race, and it's good point positioning.
What do you think, Bjorn?
Yeah. Ginger Tiger is definitely a good shout. That would have been my first option. But just to say something else, really close to Ginger Tiger, by the way. Not to make it look like it's worth any less. Barra, he's done really consistently from P8 to P3. Did not see any mistake from him. There might have been a few small ones, but of course every driver has their mistakes here and there. So I'm gonna give it to Barra. Very consistent race, and is he still in contention? You said it previously, but I forgot what you said for the championship.
It's going to be, if my calculations are correct, Pars went into this race 5 points clear of Ruddo. Extra point for the sprint win, and then 3 extra points for the feature race victory gives him a 9-point advantage going into the final race of the championship.
I see. Well, he's done a phenomenal job to keep him into mathematical contention. Now, of course, the odds, they're not looking in his favour, but all is possible. So we'll just have to wait and see next Tuesday.
Yeah, so that is going to be it for this evening, and what a final race we're going to have. Let's not forget 9 points. It's quite a big swing in Pars' favour, but if he finishes lower than 5th place, he will lose the championship to Ruddo if Ruddo wins the race. They're both currently, well, actually, no, I was going to say they both have 2 race victories, but Pars actually has 3 now as a result of tonight's victory. So if Pars finishes 6th and Ruddo wins the race, that is the championship connotations for Ruddo to win it. That's what he's hoping for. So Pars just needs to take it steady around Singapore, which will be a monumental final round of the season. I am so excited to be looking forward to that. You never know, even if there's a space, you might see a random appearance from a commentator. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. But before we even talk about the ifs, buts and maybes about that, thank you both, for yourself, Bjorn, and ARL for joining. I'll let you both finish up to say goodnight.
Thank you, and honestly, I can't believe we've reached this point for one final round of the season, but make sure to tune in because it could be an absolute belter of a Grand Prix and season finale.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Jack, in the ARL. And for the last time, or not the last, yeah, the last time this season, I'm going to say, please come back next week. But this time I really mean it. It's going to be a really exciting race. So, yeah, see you next week.
Thanks everyone for watching, and wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good one, and we'll see you for the finale next week at Singapore. Don't miss